Evolution, the story of change. Evolution is the profound and striking story of life on Earth. It began countless ages ago and is still ongoing today. Thanks to evolution, we can understand how the incredible variety of living things we see around us came into existence. Think about it, when you see a tiny chihuahua standing next to a huge Great Dane, one question immediately comes to mind. Can these really come from the same ancestors? Evolution is the answer to that question. In this story, plants and fungi step aside and animals take center stage. So let's get to the heart of the matter. How can an animal, over time, turn into a completely different species? But first, let's clarify what we mean by species. Simply put, a species is a group of living beings that can mate with one another and produce offspring that can also reproduce. What makes every living being unique? At the heart of nature lies diversity. Members of the same species may look very similar, but no two individuals are ever exactly the same. Some are a bit stronger, some faster, some bolder. So where do all these differences come from? Every living being is made up of microscopic building blocks called cells. Inside each cell is a nucleus, inside the nucleus are chromosomes, and at the core of the chromosomes lies DNA. DNA is the map of what makes us who we are. From how we look to how resilient we are, and even how we behave, many of our traits are shaped by DNA. And here's the most striking part. Every living being's DNA is unique. The more offspring, the more possibilities. In nature, living beings produce far more offspring than are actually needed to keep a species going. Of course, not all of these offspring survive. But this situation creates one of nature's greatest advantages. As the number of offspring increases, so does the number of differences among them. The more diversity there is, the greater the chance of survival. The journey of DNA. Recombination, the power of mixing. Mutation, the touch of chance. The genes of the mother and father come together and are, in a sense, shuffled. From this mix, a new individual is born, resembling both parents, yet different from each of them. Then there are mutations. Mutations are random changes and breaks that occur in DNA. Most of them have negative effects on the organism. Some make no noticeable difference at all. But very rarely, they can create advantageous traits that help an organism adapt better to its environment. The blue eye color seen in humans is the result of just such a random genetic change. The key point is this. All of these processes are based on chance. And yet, this raises an obvious question. How can so much randomness lead to such perfect adaptations? The answer is clear. This is where natural selection steps onto the stage. Natural selection. Every living being goes through an invisible test in its environment. Predators, climate conditions, food sources, competitors. Each of these acts as a selection pressure imposed by nature. Individuals that are better adapted to their environment survive and pass these advantageous traits on to the next generation. Those that cannot adapt gradually disappear from nature's stage. Darwin's finches, birds that tell the story of evolution. Imagine a small group of finches swept onto the Galapagos Islands. At first, there is plenty of food and no predators. Over time, their numbers grow, food becomes scarce, and competition begins. That's when finches with slightly different beaks gain an advantage. Some turn to cracking hard seeds, others to catching insects. Over generations, these choices reshape their bodies. Eventually, the differences become so great that they can no longer mate with one another, and new species emerge. All 14 finch species living on the Galapagos Islands today are the legacy of a single ancestor. Why we are here. Evolution doesn't just explain how life changes, it also explains why we are still here. 99% of all species that ever lived are extinct. But you are here. Because your ancestors adapted, endured, and survived. The result, you. So remember. You are a link in a chain of success stretching back billions of years. You are unique, just like every living being on Earth.